It is 3:37. Helen with you through until 4 o'clock. And then, of course, got the debrief taking you through the evening. I hope you're well. I hope distance learning is okay. I think Steve Arnold's talk there was actually incredibly reassuring when it comes to just giving ourselves permission to take a break, be realistic with the kids. And at the end of the day, just hope that we're all still talking to each other. We are continuing this. And what other pillars could be useful for our kids' sanity, their waistline, and indeed their social circle?
This is Eye on Education on Dubai Eye 103.8.
Sponsored by Repton School, Al Barsha. Exemplary British education for ages 3 to 18, where ambition is nurtured and potential is unlocked.
As we were just talking about screen fatigue, screens are doing a lot of the heavy lifting right now. School, homework and tasks, even socialising, of course, whether that is older kids on their phones chatting across platforms or iMessage or Zooms. Online learning is, of course, continuing. So many of us parents are asking the same question. How do we get our kids off the sofa and back into moving and connecting and enjoying their day, even if they say they can't be bothered or they don't want to? Well, Gareth Mordey is with us today, the General Manager of Cognita Enrich ME, to talk about what happens outside the viral and virtual classroom actually might matter just as much as what happens in it, because that's been the big moan, hasn't it, Gareth? This idea of, all the distance learning, the kids can't sit still, they're not concentrating, we're not getting our money's worth, and so on, so on, so on. And what we're going to talk about is actually the link between physical activity and how well kids can learn online. So let's get real, Gareth. How inactive do you think kids are right now compared to a couple of months ago?
Well, first of all, hi, Helen, and thanks for inviting me on the show. I think the general sentiment is slightly different to maybe a crisis that we had a few years ago. So I think where the whole place was locked down and shut down, it's slightly different now. I think there's an appetite for business as usual outside of obviously schools on the distance and online learning. So from that standpoint, I see a huge appetite from parents and families and children alike to get out and run and exercise and go to fitness classes and play sport. We've seen this by our friends at Sports City being open and lots of different paddle centres around the city. The golf clubs are open. So as much as the UE leadership have said business as usual, and we understand what the implications are in schools, there's a huge appetite for families to have activity and, frankly, some sort of normality.
Mm-hmm. And I think that normality is about a few things. One is about the movement, and we're going to talk about that, but it's also about, being in a team or seeing familiar faces where maybe it's not someone that's a friend from a classroom, it might be a friend from a sports club. And I know a lot of sports clubs are having a tough time right now because schools might be the place where they conduct their main business. But as you say, there are many opportunities at the minute, whether it is through, beach, going to the beach and surfing with pirates, or indeed, as you're saying, paddle, golf, a walk on the beach. We are lucky now, touch wood, that the weather's actually beautiful. And I think our kids need it more than ever, because the constant snack requests, the endless screen time, it could have a really, really detrimental effect. And I wondered what you've seen over your years about what can happen to children's mood and behaviour when, their movement and their exercise falls off a cliff, Gareth.
Yeah, and I think it goes without saying that children aren't designed to sit still for hours on end. So I think from that standpoint, activity and being active is always a good thing. There's a direct correlation between children being active and moving with their academic performance and focus, etc. And you're quite right, Helen, talking about the social side and the impact about being in teams and familiarity. And let's not forget that word routine. Mm-hmm. There seems to be a lot of people juggling a lot of things at the moment because parents are working, school isn't as fixed as it was, etc., etc. So I think it's about trying to get some element of normality, some routines in place. And as I've said, if we can get students in programs across the city, wherever that is in terms of sport and activities, that's only going to be a good thing. if COVID taught us anything, it was the lack of social interaction and the lack of that confidence and being connected. And I think what we're trying to do, and I'll probably go into it a bit later, but we're trying to bring that connection back to our Cognita families and Cognita students across the city. Because as I said before, we're not locked down. We're not told to stay in the house. There are measures from the leadership to shelter in place and be as safe and diligent as possible. But let's be really real. We still have to move around and we still have to keep active.
Do you think there is a direct link between physical activity and how well kids learn online, their ability to concentrate or even get a good night's sleep that could then lead to the next day being better with distance learning?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not up to speed with the science behind distance learning and the correlation with activity to answer your direct question, but I would also say as a father that when children are tired, they sleep better, and when children are tired, they go to bed on time, and that allows the adults to have some of their own time as well. So I think it's always a good thing that children are tired at the end of any day.
So we talked about pivoting a lot during the pandemic, and I wondered, Gareth, with Cognita Enrich ME, what are you guys pivoting into? What are you leaning into to make sure that kids in that school group in particular are able to enjoy and leverage? And that, we said, maybe it's familiar faces, but right now I am all about the kids making new friends, because some are leaving temporarily and some might be gone for good. So is an opportunity there to make some new friends as well?
We've took a really proactive approach, Helen, and obviously we're the management team at Cognita and Enrich ME as well. Been here a long time, very experienced. We've sort of been down this path before, so to speak. And from day one, we were in plans and in talks with sports facilities. Obviously, we're not allowed on school sites, and that's a directive and something that we're very supportive of in terms of compliance. But we have, from a Cognita, and I'll speak from Cognita Enrich ME perspective, we've had 1,200 students this week register for off-school site activities. So at sports facilities, we've leveraged our friendships, partnerships and connections across the city to open up some enrichment afternoons, our sports squads, and really invited our Cognita families, complimentary, by the way, from a Cognita directive to really keep our families connected, create new connections. As you said, people will be leaving, have left. But making sure that our doors can be as open as possible through this difficult period.
That's amazing, the appetite for it. And obviously you've got schools around the city. So how are you making sure, because I think that's a big comfort thing for a lot of people right now. It's about, maybe wanting to be able to be close to home or things be familiar. How are you managing to get that balance right in terms of, locations and offering?
Sure. So, I mean, where we've turned on this week is a Dubai Sports City, because that's a big sports hub and somewhere where we use ordinarily. This is not a new partnership or relationship. We've got great friends there. The challenge is unlocking other sports facilities around the city. We're in talks with a lot of places. So we're doing our swimming up at Hamdan. We've got our squads program down at Sports City, as I've said, and we're in talks with other facilities around the town. Out of the 1,200 students who have registered for this week, we've got a waiting list of an equal amount for next week. Wow. So we're really trying to unlock some extra timings and extra sessions. And my staff, and I can only speak about what I can control, and my staff, and they've been absolutely incredible in the sense of their willingness, their commitment, their desire to get back in front of the students and motivate and give them that energy that they do on a daily basis in ordinary times. And all I can say from the parent perspective, we had a handful of parents actually in tears yesterday, sort of thanking us for putting this on and how we've been proactive in this situation, because it hasn't been easy, and it's not easy and everybody deals with it differently. But I can't thank our leadership, I can't thank our staff enough, and I can't thank our families enough for actually engaging. And that appetite's really given us a bit of a boost as well, because as I said, everybody deals with it different, and people are up and down, and that's the nature of human beings, right?
It is, and I think what you've spoken to there is actually something we haven't touched on this afternoon, around how much the teachers just do want to be in front of the kids. That's why so many work in education. It is for the kids, with the kids. And yes, this might not be the classroom setting or on the school campus, but just that ability to make eye contact and have a chat on the sidelines, or just have a little, check in about how it's going, and then some distraction with sport, that is going to go far. That's going to go really far. It really, really is. Also, can I just say, as a parent, the fact it's free means a lot, because a lot of the narrative online right now is about what are we getting in terms of value for money. We deserve discounts. You know all of this.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of school groups are navigating the same kind of emails, but
Sure.
what that demonstrates is that you understand that parents might be having to pay extra for sports clubs and additional tuition, or other ECAs, or even just going to a trampoline place. And I think gestures like that are meaningful in terms of your goal of the movement and the connection, but it also goes a long way for parents going, but you remember when they did that for us? It's like it's a loyalty thing that I think Helen, a lot of parents will really
Helen,
appreciate it.
If I may as well, honestly, I just think it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And I think too many people can get held up on not doing the right thing in a crisis. People panic, people make knee-jerk reactions. We're fortunate where we've got a Cognita Enrich ME program, which is a world-class enrichment program across all the schools, and as well what we do on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
And all we've done is it's business as usual in that sports sector, and we've moved locations, and we've managed to then connect and engage with our families. The fact that our Cognita leadership have allowed that to be complementary is testament to our business and our culture that we live every day.
Mm-hmm.
And we see culture in crisis, and our culture and the power of that culture that has been a deliberate effort by Cognita in the market, for me, is stood and shone above what we've above the rest.
Well, as someone like you who's been through COVID with kids and in a corporate environment as well, I think there were some companies that dealt with it really well, and as you're talking about, they're doing the right thing for the right reasons, and we'll have a lot to be proud of it, looking back in the pandemic. And I think this is a micro version of that, and anything we can do that is child-centric, kids in mind, making sure that they're going back to school with firm friends, new friends, hopefully a relatively same level of fitness, then I think we'll have all done a great job. Gareth, thank you so much for your time today. I think there'll be a lot of parents listening going, yeah, I think more people could be doing that. So hopefully you've inspired some others to step up too. Take care of yourself and the family. Hopefully we'll see you in person next time, and hopefully we'll get the kids back on the sports field at Cognita schools across the region as soon as it is safe to do so. Gareth Mordey, General Manager of Cognita Enrich ME. We're going to have some more small business shout outs next, so it's your last chance to get any in on 4001.
Dubai Eye 103.8's weather check.
Winds this afternoon are coming from the west at 15.